Welcome to Care Capacity. Move the mouse and arrow keys to explore your world and discover new care objects. Interact by placing the cloud over them and clicking repeatedly. So, yeah, this game is all about taking care of inanimate objects. And that kind of, I don't know, the overall theme of care and labor goes throughout my work. I don't normally make video games. I normally do video and sculpture mostly. Yeah, so you kind of land in this kind of barren landscape, and then one by one, these different care objects are showing up and they're demanding attention. So each of them has a health bar above them. And so immediately, as soon as they're there, they're dying. They're just dying and they need help immediately. And the way that you help them is you click on them and that makes them grow. And then if they get big enough and healthy enough, then they reproduce and they spawn kind of clones of themselves, like little versions. And then they kind of start acting however they want. They kind of like they're clumping together. They're kind of flying around. They have a life of their own. But then each new object that's created, even if it's created in bursts, each one needs to be looked after to not die. And if they do die, if they shrink away, then they kind of go into this death state. They cross over. They get so small, and then they cross over, and then they start growing. If you're not looking after them, then they slowly start growing and expanding. So each object has a sound clip attached to it, and it's a combination of like different notification bells, different like church bells, different news clips. And then also layered in there is kind of some like whispery ASMR type things that it's the objects telling you to click them and come closer and do this. So all of these sounds get kind of layered and can become pretty overwhelming. Yeah. And then so you can keep interacting with these objects, you can keep clicking on them, you can help them reproduce and be healthy and do all this stuff. But you could also just like walk away. So there's no real prescribed goal, and there's no real prescribed end state. You're just kind of in this landscape, in this environment where things are demanding your attention, demanding your care. But obviously you can have your own. You can set up your own boundaries. You can you can choose what you're doing. Yeah. So and they're appearing one by one. At the beginning, we had them all appear at once, and it was so much happening.
Very overwhelming.
With all the sounds. So now they're appearing kind of staggered, and like hopefully you're getting to know your way around and get to know the game if I'm not there to explain it. I also found that was kind of a funny thing. I needed to have like a couple people play it to be like, oh right, you don't know anything about what you're supposed to do. So just like making that clear, kind of. But also it's funny doing that for something that's not really a gaming or a game in the traditional sense.